you for joining me today. I have my bling whistle. It means Coach Stacy Lynn is in the house, and I want to let you know that this channel is about helping you grow spiritually, helping you to heal from trauma, and building healthy relationships. And I want to be on that journey with you. So today, though, I wanted to give a couple of thoughts. I have a couple of thoughts. So I decided that you can mark your calendar if you want. I've decided that I'm going to be uploading a video on Tuesday, trying to do a live on Thursday, and also posting a new video on Saturday. So 3 days a week I'll have new content, and then I'll have snippets, hopefully, of some of that content during the other days of the week. But this week I have had a very interesting week. And part of what my heart is, why I started this channel, is because I have a real burden for the church. And I see so much abuse in the church. And I see the church as a whole and how it's gone downhill. And I want to read you something I just wrote. Because I just got out of this webinar about how churches can use AI to build their followings and stuff. I'm going to put my whistle on here. Yeah, I am. Anyway. Now, my husband and I, we have been talking a lot about artificial intelligence because he has to deal with it in his job. I am getting bombarded with artificial intelligence everywhere. I get it like in email. I get it on Facebook. I'm artificial intelligence is everywhere. But what concerns me today is that in my lifetime, I'm almost 57. Okay, so that makes me an old person. All right. But when I became a Christian, the church was in a state where psychology had just come into the church, and then the church became psychologized. I'll use that word. It went from being biblical, just strictly using the Bible, to then being psychological. And now we're in an era, and I'm going to say it's almost 50 years later, where we are beginning to see the church become artificial. All right. And what I mean by that is the artificial intelligence, how AI is now being pitched to younger pastors. I just got out of a seminar with a 32-year-old pastor who basically said, well, he didn't basically said, this is actually what he said. He said, my goal as a pastor is to start sermons with a joke and then punch them in the face. And I thought, oh my gosh. Now look, I understand that you want to make jokes. That's fine. I'm a funny person myself. I love humor. But as a pastor, your job is to shepherd and nurture the little sheep, the little lambs that are in your church. Right? That's your job. Your job, if you're a pastor, is that you're actually a called shepherd. And a shepherd is supposed to protect the flock and nurture the flock. And I don't know about you, but many years ago, I don't know, maybe close to 20 years ago, I went to Australia. And one of the things that I got to do when I was in Australia was visit an actual flock of sheep and meet an actual shepherd. And I got to see the dog round the sheep up and all that. And I got to meet the shepherd and seen a little bit about what he was doing. And his number one goal is to protect the sheep, because the sheep can wander and get their head stuck in a fence, stuff like that. So I have watched the church go from being biblical to being psychological to now becoming artificial. I really do think that's a quotable, by the way, because it's true. And I can't see any comments, so if you're saying anything, I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see anything. So I don't know if comments will show up or not. I'm using my phone. So I'm burdened. I have a heavy heart because the deception that I see encroaching here with AI is that AI is beginning to tell people how to think and not the other way around. Even Elon Musk admits that AI is dangerous, right? Yes, I do see that. Thank you, Carol, for making a comment so I can see it. I might have to wear my glasses though, so I can see it better. No, I'll have to go way back here. Anyway, so in the beginning though, maybe AI is a good idea. I'm not going to throw artificial intelligence out the window completely, but my concern is, first of all, where did the technology come from? Personally, I think it was demonically downloaded into people's whatever. That's what I personally think. Because what's the point of it? Artificial intelligence is to overtake human intelligence that God gave us. What a mockery, right? What a mockery of God to, if you believe the whole world is going to turn against Israel and God's people, and if you ultimately believe in the rapture, the church can be taken out, and you believe that in the end there's going to be a one world system and an antichrist that's going to control the whole world, worldwide surveillance, the only way that's happening is through artificial intelligence. Just saying. There's the fact is that we're already all being watched everywhere. Our phones, the push for AI on our phones, the push for cameras everywhere. I mean, it's all there, people. And I know this is my coaching page, but part of what I'm trying to coach here is to use some biblical discernment with some of the things that are constantly being pitched to you, and most people just watch. Please hit the 3 dots at the top right and click the like button. Oh yeah, thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at telling people that stuff. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. But anyway, going back to the, why I'm bringing this up is because I want people to be discerning. Look, if you begin to not think for yourself and you listen to what this AI is telling everybody to do, at some point, don't you lose confidence in who you are and how you think? This is one of the things that I work with people with. Self-doubt, right? Let's talk about self-doubt for a minute. Recently, I do quite a few consults with people, right? I have a lot of people contact me for coaching consults. One of the big things that I see in people who do a consult is that, oh, I'm curious, I kind of want to know, whatever, but I'm not really sure. And so they have some self-doubt, right? And rightfully so. I mean, if I contact somebody I don't know, I'm kind of going to feel them out too, right? But let's carry that to a higher level. Are you really sure you believe what God says? Right? So, do you really believe what God says? That self-doubt, self-doubt can be overcome when you understand what God says about you and who you are in Him, right? And that's, people don't actually turn to them. In fact, as I was praying about doing this today, one of the verses that came to my mind was Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, which says this. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, right? My good friend gave me this heart. So trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Some versions say He will make your path straight, depending on the version that you read. Okay. Here's what people always focus on when they quote Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. They always focus on trust in the Lord with all your heart. They ignore the second part, and do not lean on your own understanding. Right? Whenever you're trying to figure something out or you're full of doubt, it's because you're trying to lean on your own understanding. Right? And that's because you're not acknowledging God in all your ways. How do you acknowledge God? You open the Bible and you read it. You actually read the Bible. And here's the other thing I got to share with you. in regards to actual Bible reading. And this is kind of another topic, but I'll just throw it out there, is that there was some research done not too long ago about how many Bibles American families own. The average, according to the research, the average family owns 4 Bibles. Okay. Also, according to the research, the same research said, give us reasons why you don't read the Bible. And they literally had 11,025 reasons given to them why they don't read the Bible. I have yet to find that list. And when I do, I'm going to go through it and I'm going to look at all the reasons. Because that's a big part of the reason why people are full of self-doubt, because they don't read the Bible. Meanwhile, I think it's the American Bible Society. They just put out another research study, and they are touting, and I actually have it over here on my, let's see if I can find it. I'll read the headline as soon as I can find it. Yeah, the headline for this is, an estimated 10 million more U.S. adults qualified as Bible users in January 2025 than in 2019, reports the American Bible Society. Now that sounds good, right? Wow, 10 million more U.S. adults qualified as Bible users in January of this year than in 2019. Wow, that means that we have 10 million more people in America who are using the Bible. Until you look at how they define what a Bible user is. Now, and this, when I saw this, I was just like, who came up with this definition? So the definition of how they define a Bible user is this way. A Bible user is somebody who uses the Bible 3 times a year, right? 3 times a year outside of the church setting that they're already in. Okay? So basically, if, let's say I went to the zoo and I saw a lion and I want to say hi to it, and I interacted with it through the wall, and I did this 3 times a year, then could I be called a lion tamer? Probably not, people. But according to this definition, all you gotta do is use the Bible 3 times a year, and you qualify as a Bible user according to the American Bible Society and their research. Which this is absolutely ridiculous research, in my opinion. It doesn't. They're trying to say, oh, there's so many people that use the Bible now because 3 times a year it qualifies a Bible user. I'm just like, this is pathetic. It's just pathetic. And this is the state of the church, though. It's the state of the church. The church is weak in America because we are biblically illiterate in America. The church is weak in America because we have leaders who are addicted to things that they shouldn't be addicted to. I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get flagged or anything. But it starts with a P, just so y'all know. And now we have this creep of artificial intelligence coming to young pastors everywhere who are now going to be butting heads with old pastors everywhere. And the old pastor would be somebody in my age group versus the 30-somethings who think that they should take direction from artificial intelligence. So we've gone from being biblically literate to using the Bible in our churches to then becoming over psychologized or psychologicalized. I like that word. To now the influx of AI everywhere. And so, and what is it? Meanwhile, you have people leaving traditional church for a lot of these reasons because it's become a circus, right? Because of all this stuff. I mean, if you have a pastor saying that you have to tell jokes and then punch them in the face in your message, then what's that about? It's about entertainment. It's not about discipleship. So you have a lot of people now who are in the house church. And why is that important? And why is that good? I'll tell you why I think it's good. And I'll tell you why I think it's important. I think it's good that people are leaving the church, traditional, and going into house churches, because the house church is where you get your community, you get your fellowship, you get to be known, and you're not surrounded by artificial issues as much. Granted, some people are fake, but the people leaving the church, they're sick of the fake. They want authentic relationship. They want authentic Bible reading. They want authentic Bible teaching. They want somebody who knows the scripture. And I've seen this bear out in my own little house church that we have. You know, one of our members said recently, you know, I'm so glad that I'm doing this, because you're undoing some of the stuff that I've always been taught and never understood. And how is that being done? It's being done by opening the Word of God and showing it. And by the way, if you read the book of Revelation, just as a thing, the letters to the churches in Revelations that Jesus penned to those churches that John has for us in the book of Revelation, you know, those churches that Jesus is commending and rebuking and talking to, those were all house churches. Those were not traditional churches. And I bet you most of you didn't know that, because most people, when they hear a sermon, they talk about the church in Revelation, these different churches, Church of Laodicea, etc. Those were all house churches. The traditional church did not, and I say traditional as in the building, all that actually didn't begin until like the 4th century. So those letters were written to house churches. So I think that we are, I think we're in a state of, the church is largely apostate today. And I think that it is frustrating to people who really want to pursue the Lord, and they want to pursue healing and hope, and they want to overcome trauma. And I think a lot of the trauma that people are dealing with today it's been in the church traditional, where all the abuse is, because we wouldn't have so much abuse in the church if we actually had godly leaders who knew the Lord and actually obeyed his word. I mean, imagine that, right? So I look at that and I just think it's really interesting that now AI is training youth pastors and other pastors, and, you know, they are now trying to influence the older generation, just like back in the day when I was a kid, a teenager, when psychology crept in, started pushing out biblical counseling. And look, hey, we're going to go ahead and look at psychology now and look at how that has impacted the church. I will also say, in the area of mental health, AI is also like completely clobbering that area too. I just got a message, and I'm pulling it up here on my computer. It actually says therapeutic content and ideas by AI. Session ideas, quick advice, session summary, patient intake. Like, some of this is okay, I get it, because I used to be a therapist and you have to take notes. But I'm sorry, I don't need AI to tell me how to give advice to my clients. And I don't need AI to tell me how to give advice to a coaching client, or a session idea. No. What we need relationship. We need to interface face to face. We need heart to heart talking. We need connection and attachment. That's why so many people feel disconnected and lonely, because they don't have these things. What they have is their phone that they're staring at 24 hours a day. It's like, and I get it. I spend a lot of time on my phone. My husband even took a picture of me in bed. I literally, this is so embarrassing. I will never show this picture. But I listen to a podcast at night, and sometimes I will be trying to find what I want to listen to before I go to sleep, because I was raised on TV and white noise putting me to sleep. So this one particular night, I was laying in bed and I had my phone, which is right there. I'm looking at it. And I fell asleep before I could find what it was I was going to fall asleep to. And my husband took a picture of me sleeping with my phone and my finger, because my yeah, who knows, maybe I'll post it at some point, but I had my my arm under my pillow and my fingers on the thing, and I'm like, I'm just snoozing away. Because I was trained to fall asleep to white noise, because that's, that was the generation I'm from. Anyway, I just wanted to bring up some of those thoughts, because I think that, I think they're valid. And, I have a couple of minutes. I'd love to take any questions or comments that are serious, not stupid like the one that I have down here that I can see. If anybody has a comment or a question, or just want to say thank you for speaking, I'm happy to take those at this time if you'd like to say anything. So my name is Mud is clearly somebody whose name should be Mud. I'm sure they're gone by now. So I'll wait like a minute or so, and if I don't see any comments, then I'm going to sign off. Just remind you, please subscribe. If you like this, hit like. If you want to share it out, that's also cool. Also, if you want a free consult with me, you can do that. I think I have it linked in my bio here or wherever it is. So, yeah. So what do you guys think of AI? Do you like it? Do you think it's a good thing? All that. You just wanted to say I rock. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Don't feel like I rock well, but but I have a glass rock. So there you go, right there. So I got 15 seconds left, people. And so far I've been able to do this without getting interrupted by my animals, which is actually a miracle. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna leave. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, my cat is screaming, so that is a sign. Yep. All right, well, have a good day. I plan on updating again Saturday probably. But I have a lot of videos, so go check them out if you haven't seen them. And I am praying for all the victims that we all know about, going on with Daystar and all those situations. I am watching it, just haven't had much time to talk about it, but I'll be sharing some thoughts in a future video. But if you just come in, I just want to let you know that I plan on updating Tuesday, doing a live on Thursday, putting a new video on Saturday, and all that, so you have some fresh content every day, almost every day, and then cutting up stuff, doing editing and stuff other days. So there you go. All right, Jaylee, thank you. And Carol, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for coming in. The rest of you, thank you for coming in. Please hit like if you don't mind. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. It's free, just so you know. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.